so is Tallulah. So in today's video, I will be telling you guys what all happened to Tallulah, my 2003 Ford Taurus, and why I've been out for 2 more weeks. So to recap, if you remember in the YouTube short I uploaded 2 weeks ago, you'll note that I was in Ravenna, Ohio, because that morning I was arriving at work like it was nobody's business, and I was pulling into my parking space when the car died on me and wasn't able to crank over again since. I thought at first it was the neutral safety switch, but it turns out it was the starter, and that's where things get complicated. I had to spend $275 out of my savings that I had set aside for the road trip that I have scheduled for this fall, $75 for the tow, as well as the $200 to cover partial of the car repair. The total repair for the car was $435. I would have done it myself, but I didn't have the tools nor the starter on standby. Go figure, as soon as I get the car fixed, the starter does arrive in the mail. Isn't that nice? I did the partial payment around July 1st or so, and I then got on the phone with the car repair shop, and I asked them, would it be okay if I were to pick up the car on July 5th? And here's how that went. Hello, my name is Nicholas McElroy. I'm calling about my 2003 Ford Taurus.
Most certainly, sir. It is ready for you.
Great! I'll be there this Friday to pick it up.
Certainly, it'll be here waiting for you.
So I get to the car repair shop on July 5th, and I was completely surprised, with cash in hand from the bank that was open that day, to find out that the car repair shop was closed in observance for the holiday. So I thought, okay, fine. I will go pick up the car on Saturday, because I called them right after I left the car repair shop, and they said it'll be open from 8 a.m. to noon. So, here's how that went.
Thank you for calling our car repair shop. All of our operators are busy assisting other callers. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for calling our car repair shop. All of our operators are currently busy. Thank you for calling our car repair shop. All of our operators are currently busy at this time.
I then found out that the car repair shop was in fact closed on Saturdays and Sundays, despite their business hours being from 8 a.m. to noon on Saturdays. And I was not surprised to see that they were closed on Sundays, but that completely voided my brother and I's plans, because we were planning on going back to Fort Wayne to visit his girl for a while. But even so, it made things just that little bit more harder than necessary. I eventually picked up the car on Monday morning before I was supposed to go to work, and arrived about an hour and a half late because I had to take a taxi from where I live in northern Ohio and go pick up the car about 20 miles away. So, needless to say, I was not a happy camper. But at least things were sorted out. But that's not all, you see, because when I returned to work the day the car broke down on me, I found out one of two things that I'm not too happy about. For one thing, I returned back to work, just going about my day, and I set my phone down on my workbench so therefore I could concentrate on the production and get things done accordingly. It was about an hour into my shift when my grandmother texted me, so I picked up the phone because I was on break, and that's when I discovered that my phone also had completely fried its battery, therefore being completely void of use, therefore erasing everything. Yep, I had to get a new phone so therefore I can make more content for you guys. But on the bright side to that is, therefore I wouldn't have to worry about my phone shooting footage as if the camera has cataracts. So I'm glad that was all said and done and dealt with. But even so, that made me spend not only $275 on the partial car repair, but also another $249 gave myself a new phone. And I'm so glad I got a new phone, because the camera on this new phone is excellent! After picking up the car, I decided to buy myself some much needed, some aftermarket floor mats. They're not Ford branded like I had originally planned, but they do the job just fine. And while I was at it, I decided to recharge the air conditioning system on this car. Because don't get me wrong, it was not lukewarm when I first picked up the car, but it was definitely getting to the point where if I didn't do something fast, I would be turning into, needless to say, McElroy soup by the time the summer ended. This has been one hell of a hot summer. When it's not raining, of course. After I took the car to go get its AC recharged and the new floor mats installed, I happened to notice the ride on this car was especially rock hard. Like to the point where I felt like I was sitting on a seat of spikes, or maybe, I don't know, maybe a bed of nails, however which way you want to say it. But even so, nice Corvette. But even so, the ride on this thing was rock hard, so I thought maybe the tires were a little too deflated or inflated, So I took it to the local Get-Go gas station, and that's when I figured out that the front left tire was inflated to 14 out of 30 psi, and the rear tires were inflated to a whopping 75 psi. How in the heck did this car make it from here to Fort Wayne when I went to the Cord, Auburn, and Duesenberg Museum in Auburn, Indiana, without exploding is a mystery even for me. However, now with everything with my Ford Taurus is now completely sorted. Thank goodness, because like I said in my other videos, I do not want another project car. I already got one as it is, and so far everything is perfectly fine. The car runs and drives nice and sweetly, and even though there are still a few odds and ends that I got to get sorted on this car, I'm perfectly happy with it as it is, so I really can't complain too much. So that concludes everything that went wrong with my phone as well as my 2003 Ford Taurus, and I do apologize for any inconvenience as well as any worry that I may have caused. I know with some of my friends, let's say my friend up in New York, it caused him a heck of a lot of worry to the point when I called him using my cousin's phone. He was so relieved to hear my voice. But either way, I am super happy with the way things are now, and I can say for once in my life that I feel actually rather confident with this Ford Taurus. So if you want to see more videos of this car and many others, feel free to subscribe to McElroy's Motors today, and I have more videos coming along soon. Now I'm getting completely blinded by the sun because I got no sun visor! Good golly, I could benefit from a haircut. I'm starting to look like I belong in the 1980s despite my taste in music and cars.